Haiti Biz News Show. Come on in, pile in. You know what it is. Today is the 18th of October. We got lots to talk about, lots of things to discuss that has happened during the week. Economically focused, business focused information we're going to provide. So come on in. As folks do pile in, you're going to see the intro. Intro is going to play. I got some stuff I'm going to be doing in the background. We'll be right back, right? And we're going to hop in. We're going to get right started. All right. You know what it is. We're back at it again, guys. Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. And we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. And we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. And we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we're doing here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Maybe we're back. We're back. We're on so many mediums. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, aka Twitter, even on IG. So good morning, folks. As folks pile in, I want to wish you guys a happy post Desaline's birthday, or sorry, Desaline honors day. Of course, not his birthday. He passed away yesterday, and we commiserate, that event every 17th of October. So folks who were, I think honestly, if there's any time to drink a bit of Seejeanty after the first, it certainly should be on Desaline's commemorative day, because without Desaline leading charge and getting us to the finish line when they took away our black Napoleon. I know even folks don't even like comparing that, but truly, Toussaint was an incredible leader, right? Desaline took it over. Everybody rallied around who was at the time the second man in command, and got us to where we are right now, where you have an unshaven man talking to you on the interwebs from Haiti. So welcome, come on in, 18 October. We got a lot to talk about. This show is a rare place where we can really have a space where we can focus on what's happening in Haiti from a business perspective and an economic perspective. We try to leave politics very, 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 very far away from here, of course. So we do have to engage it because of politics is ever consuming aspect on economic activity. In fact, we're experiencing something right now, where as relates to the currency situation right now in Haiti. Of course, we're going to be talking about it in depth a little bit more today. There's a bit of information, a bit of news that we're gonna partake in. But before we do, qui t'aime commencer partie cœur qui est toujours nécessaire, parce qu'il y a toujours quelqu'un qui est venu dans channel là qui pas fait une bonne mission, fait comprendre pour qui ça yon on monde qui semble yo qui a parlé sur Haïti et en plus sur l'autre langage. OK, actuellement Michael a dit fait un bon IG post sur ça, Ou pas faire haïtien satisfait parce que ou fait en anglais, ou dit ah mon cher, ça fait là même qui m'a capable faire là ça haïtien bail, c'est haïtien et là en créole mais bon l'autre quantité de monde qui a vinn sous qui a dit mon cher garde on vieux créole même. Garde on créole gagote même. Et ça blanc ça vinn dim là dans langage la butcher. Et bon, on va faire haïtien satisfait mais en tout cas et il y a une raison que nous pas faire sur ça en créole et dépasser le langage là. C'est que nous avons un espace, ok, qui est vraiment important pour l'autre monde, nous-mêmes tout, parce que pour nous, puis là ici, le premier langage c'est créole, okay, même la créole c'est un créole qui connecte nous tous et le langage créole c'est un langage qui connecte nous tous, mais en anglais, c'est anglais pour appeler le monde. C'est un langage préférable. Et en plus, à tout le monde qui par contre de Haïti, qui parle haïtien peut-être, seulement vous recevoir par rapport à qui ça Haïti, c'est dans CNN, c'est dans Miami Herald, c'est dans Fox News. Les côtés qui seulement vous parlez Haïti attention, c'est que les on gagne fait dans le pays par rapport parti politique là ou par rapport à la nature, ou un cyclone passé, tremblement de terre, etc. Il va jamais un côté qui va recevoir une base d'information et sans de sensation, ok, et par rapport à qui ça fait jour à jour et pour avancer nous, ok. Ça c'est une raison. Deuxième raison c'est simplement moi-même comme haïtien comme de là-bas, j'aime un côté qui te bas information, j'aime des gars bien comprendre, mais même toujours quand c'est encore là, mais anglais c'est plus facile, c'est ça m'apprend, c'est ça qui m'a l'école, c'est ça comment travailler, m'a parler, tout ça t'as préféré pour moi. Et finalement, tout, c'est que je connais, les gens qui sérieusement besoin d'informations en créole, c'est pas côté manqué pour joindre, ok? Ou bien Radio Metropole, excusez-moi, et tu peux la caille ou bien Radio Caribe, ok, ou bien nek to giwewe, ok, ou bien Chokala, ok, ou bien même Jason Napoléon, ou bien nous get trop pour nous recevoir information, nous qui vraiment sérieusement besoin d'information yo qui a vinn sur live là, magago bon non, ou bien assez côté radio, toute radio station qui Haïti yo qui dans zone côté rete ya tout. Côté ça, c'est ça, c'est ça, vous construisez ressources, des informations, même l'information, ça n'a pas tellement focus. Il y a toujours un agenda pour partager avec vous. Mais où bien côté pour joindre quitter espace ça, un espace que les gens qui préfèrent langue et recevoir des informations dans anglais. Quitter cet espace ça, d'ailleurs, je toujours dit ça, je dis journée que on monde partage une mission comme ça. Qui a fait en tête frais. Dans l'anglais, je suis bien content, je quitter. Parce que franchement, je préféré pour me faire des temps à brasser créole. Ok? Quand on dit, il faut préférer créole, on va faire gaspiller anglais. 900 ça tout, nous on va faire gaspiller anglais. Tu connais ça? C'est de l'autre côté. On l'autre monde qui t'a fait, je suis bien content, je tout été dans le créole. Je suis carrément ok? So anyways, I just wanted to give my usual top of the hour disclaimer of why this emission is in this cast, this live stream is in English, right? And of course, it's because it's necessary. We don't have a space in English where this sort of information is provided, and so here we are. And I always challenge the folks who come in with that criticism. Listen, you giving me a space where this is already being done in English, and I will gladly, you hear me, gladly do it in Creole. I need more opportunities, even though I'm living here in Haiti, to speak more of it. Trust me, if the mission is complete, I'll gladly go and speak more Creole. But in any case, I want to welcome folks, and I'm very happy for folks to come in. We have a YouTube Seejeanty on location, ALS. Now, I wasn't able to drop a brand new episode this week just because we had so much going on. I don't do these too often, where I go and I shoot a commercial episode, i.e. someone hires my media company to do something here in Haiti. Usually, I do have a lot of relationships commercially, but usually it's strictly video production. So my group, my team here we execute video production projects. But it's already pre-shot. The information is already given to us already, and then we just cut it, put it together, and we send it back out, right? But this time, we had a really special project request for someone. Even when the requests come in and the money looks right, I still turn it down because I'm like, I'm good. My research is still a bit thin, and I know usually taking a commercial project can sometimes mean that my episode output is slowed down when it comes to Seejeanty. So a lot of times I'm like, but this came in, someone I respect tremendously, and the product they're doing is really game changing for what Haiti needs. And so I said, okay, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. And so, in fact, and I like the project so much, I got permission actually to, I'll probably be sharing it on the channel itself in this coming week. So look out for it. It's very interesting. I'll leave the cliffhanger at that. But beyond that, we got something really cool coming out. I might as well just spoil it for you guys. A lot of you folks are fans of Brother Love, right? He's a fantastic YouTuber who's doing some really cool, really great things out here on the YouTube lands. And so we did a collaboration video, and this is very different from what we've done. You know me, I always enjoy changing it up, trying different styles of shooting and putting episodes together, because you do the same things over and over, it gets stale, right? And so this episode is really, really different. That's coming this week. And so again, make sure, guys, if you're watching this, if you're a fan of what we've been doing out here, if you're on YouTube and on Facebook, make sure you hit that notification button. That's really important. That notification button tells you the moment a video drops. You can go check it out, right? And you don't want to miss these things we're going to be dropping next week. And we have some really cool things coming on the horizon. Some things coming on next month as well that you don't want to wait and find out a week later that's been out. You want to check out this stuff right away, believe me. So hit that notification button. And while you're watching too, hit that like button. That like button helps us out a lot in terms of algorithm, the machinery behind YouTube, behind Facebook. So if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this right now, hit that big old like button. Okay, it helps tremendously, right? And also, let me do something here. Actually, this has the last one from last week. Let me update my banner real quick. All right, boom. And actually, let me put this in Creole as well. Boom, boom, boom. All right. The Creole might be bad, but y'all can live with it. Because I can live with it. So just drop the banner down there. You already see what's going on down there with the banner. Partage live, share the live, right? You have it at the very bottom, right? So do go ahead and do just that. As you're watching, if you know what we are about to do here on this episode today, make sure you share it. There's information that we're going to share with that's going to help those in Haiti, those who are going to be who are doing business in Haiti, who are living in Haiti, right? And so if you know anyone who can appreciate this information that we're going to talk about today, who wants to stay in the know and actually has a preference for it, anglais, as they say, do share it directly, share it on your stream, share it on your Facebook feed, share it in your WhatsApp group, share it. Okay? All right. And as always, you guys are my co-hosts. So wherever you're watching this from, if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Instagram, drop a comment. I read everything. I'm gonna read every single thing on the stream on air, right? The way I do it, I'm gonna read a few of them in just a moment, and then at the end of the newscast, I'm gonna literally stick around as long as it takes. I've stuck around an hour and a half before, just so I can go through what people have dropped, and I can have a conversation, answer questions. Because this is why I do it this way. Right? Even though next year I do foresee us doing Haiti Biz News differently, I'm seriously trying to, it's like playing Tetris, right? Trying to see how to make the things fit when it comes to revenue and paying people and everything. But literally next year, I really do want to see if we're going to make Haiti Biz News its own channel and really get some staff behind it, get a dedicated videographer behind it, and see if we can do daily news emissions through the interwebs and bite-sized portions. But even if we do that, I'm still going to do the Haiti Biz News weekly on this channel, just because it's, I enjoy the conversational aspect of talking to you guys, right? And you guys sharing the information you guys have. Because I always say I'm not an expert necessarily, but I've been living here 3+ years and got a lot of different exposure to a lot of different environments, given the sort of business lines I'm in, right? But at the same time, I admire and respect the perspectives of other people who are also engaged. That's very, very important. People who are not engaged, who are giving me their 2 cents, I don't value that too much, right? Because anybody can do that. I value the perspectives of people who've tried, even if you've been unsuccessful. I value that. I want to learn from that. And I think other people here on the channel will also value that as well. So go ahead and drop a comment, right? And share. You guys are my co-hosts. I always say that. I want to say what's up to Lovely King Magni. What's up, man? Good morning. We got Betty Leville in the house. We got Music Lover 2, veteran. What's up, Music Lover 2? Happy to have you. Black 26Z. Sounds like a very nice car, man. It's like passing. We got Lovely King Magni. All right. We got Bounce Bougie 11. What's up? What's up? Veteran in the house. Reginald Jim Bart, another guy. Always happy to see every Sunday. Always happy to see you. FC. Haven't seen you in a while, man. If you have, I do apologize, but I haven't seen you in a while. Happy to see you back. Ron is my name. That's a brand new face for a brand new face. So make sure Ron is my name. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hope to see you again. Do not be shy. Happy to have you in the chat. LM, another veteran. What's up? Good morning. We got B's Family Vlogs. I thought I've seen B's before. I'm just now registering. His channel's name is Family Vlogs. So that probably means he has some stuff going on over there. So I'm going to try to put a little note for myself and check out B's Family Vlogs. Let me actually type this down. B's Family Vlogs. That means you probably got some content, maybe Haiti related. So I'm going to check that out. I made a little note for myself. I'll check it out after the stream. We got Sony St. Clair. We're back at it again. Yes, we are, Sony St. Clair. Happy to have you. I got Haiti HQ, IET HQ. Good morning. Good morning. Happy to have headquarters checking in on what we got going on here. We got Carlo Michael. Shout out from Montreal, Canada. That's always a pleasure to see folks. We got Seejeanty in the house. Mwah, good to see you. The folks who know. Okay. Music Lover 2 saying include a disclaimer to your intro so that you don't waste. You know what? That is a great idea, Music Lover 2. And in fact, I'm overdue a reboot of my intro. And so actually, probably in a few weeks, there's going to be a little of a lull because of some travel I got to get done. So maybe around that time, I think you're right. I like that idea. Let me add that to the idea bucket. Things to execute. Adding the Creole disclaimer to the auto intro sequence. Okay, yeah, maybe say a quick sentence. That's a good idea. I like that. Bounce Butcher says, there's always news in Creole. You good, bro? Appreciate that. Reginald also saying English Creole, it's good no matter what, right? We got Demetrius up in the house. Good morning, Demetrius saying, bro, when you gonna give some Petit Guave some love? He's saying, when is Petit Guave gonna get some love? I'm sorry. We're trying. We're in fact trying to go out more and do things outside of Port-au-Prince. Believe me. And I tell you what, the easiest way to get me out to anywhere in Haiti is contacting someone with lodging, primary lodging, out in the area you want me to go, and make them reach out to me. Have them reach out to me. My email is back down there. That's the reason the biggest obstacle typically is getting lodging for my team. It's not just me out there; it's my team. And so usually once that obstacle is taken care of, we're usually able to take care of everything else on our side. So that's the response. But nonetheless, we are keeping an eye on Petit Guave. It's a very beautiful area. We've driven by. Like the nearest we've gotten to Petit Guave is Haitian Hillbilly episode. So do check that out. We weren't too far from Petit Guave on that episode, right? We got Ann Adam. What's up? Good morning. We got Dorothy Jean. Good morning. We got Gurlence Simmons. Ooh, my God, no, I know. Saint-Merizier. Okay, voila. Saint-Merizier. We had to twist and turn the syllables in the tongue for a little bit. We got Willie Dennis. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for watching. My job is only as good as people who watch, so I appreciate you. B says, family ready, yes, and awesome, fantastic. Bees, yeah, definitely checking you out. And then Reginald says, what do you think if someone wants to do business outside of the Department West? Haiti is not only port. I agree with that. I think really, folks will get much more chance of success by doing things outside of Port-au-Prince. Not only are the people more trustworthy, okay, and anyone will tell you that. You'll see that your business line, whatever it is, you're going to face less competition. That's another thing you got to continue. That's a plus of doing business outside of the West. And in fact, it's so important that the book I have coming out, 101 Ways to Do Business in Haiti, every single idea, just about every single idea that we have a departmental policy guideline, right? Meaning, is this idea effective in Port-au-Prince, or is this idea effective in the provinces? Does it work in both? Right. So that question is so important. I do take time to make sure that I address it for every idea that I'm going to present. Right. So great question, Reginald. And that is very seriously something we all have to consider. Anyone who's trying to do business needs to consider. J. George, ça passe nous là, oui, on phone, on Québec, on frappe là. Okay. Merci. Thanks for asking. Carl Bernards, girl with a K, from California. How you doing? Girl with a K. Okay, it must be another username that you usually hop in on. But then either way, happy to have you, Carl Barnes. Let's check out IG. Let's give IG some love before I get on with it. Let's see what folks are saying. Let me scroll all the way to the tip top. I want to give IG some attention. Of course, if you're watching from IG right now, remember, in about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, you're going to have to drop and go over to YouTube and see, or YouTube and Facebook to finish watching, because we only have 1 hour available on here. We keep on scrolling. This keeps okay. Here we go. We got Oscar, Rafe 25. I'm Dominican, but we have to protect our border. Sorry, but Haiti is a big proud for my country. That's what a Dominican friend, Rafe 25, has said, and I can tell you, man, the Dominican online army don't play. Okay, they get notifications. I feel like a quarter of the country gets notifications whenever Dominican Republic is mentioned anywhere online. And I can tell you, boy, Dominicans don't play. Unlike Haitians, Haitians will if somebody's talking bad about Haiti, they show up and they agree with the people. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? These Haitians, most Haitians will come and like, yeah, you know what? This person is right. But Dominicans, you say one thing about Dominican Republic, they will come in and they will scorch earth you. They will, they don't play. And that's probably a big difference between us and them. They, for however you may want to feel about a Dominican, they will ride and die for the policies being executed in their country. Versus Haitians will be the very first people to talk bad about their own country, right? And that's a sad fact. And I tell you, one of the first steps Haiti needs to improve itself is we Haitians really need to get more defensive about Haiti. And yes, there's some problems with Haiti, but that's family business, right? We just like we don't accept, no matter if we're beefing with our brother or sister. If somebody's talking about our brother and sister, even while we're beefing, what are we going to do? We're going to defend our brother and sister, right? We don't do that in Haiti. In Haiti, we agree with the people criticizing us, which is insane. That's really something we have to work on. We got Desmi84 saying that is my goal, to move and do business in Haiti. That's what's up. Good to have you. Good morning. Good to have you in the chat. We got Jaunty DMC in the house. Good morning. What's up? What's up? Happy to have you in the chat. Happy to have you in the chat. Right. And again, if you're watching IG, don't be shy. Drop a comment. They will be read. They will be read. And actually, Jay George asking a very important question here. I thought I included it. Usually, it's in my little banner over there. But let's go ahead and fix that. And boom, we have that now on the banner. Jay George, go ahead and go. You can go ahead and execute that on that request. You have it now available to you. So what are we going to be talking about today? Now, as the headline reads, we got 10,000 Dominican troops at the border. Not the first time I've talked about it, but we got a breakdown of some of the troops that are out there. We're going to be talking about today. COVID is still a thing. And we're going to be talking about today. We've got to talk about it until that vaccine has hit. That is something that we always have to talk about until that epidemic is fully finished. Right. We have the government, right, announcing transport prices have changed. The government has modified transport prices in the country. Is it enough? We'll talk about it. The currency exchange rate. This is maybe the third or fourth week we talked about it. It's, trust me, much less talking about it. I'm living it. Right. I mean, just yesterday, I went out. Those who follow me on Instagram and my Facebook, Saw that I decided to take a little R&R day yesterday. I went to Hotel Montana, actually, Hotel Montana. And of course, some of my family who saw me like, what are you doing going out on Dessalines Day? Don't you know that's protest day? Man, like, listen, ain't nothing happening. I'm covered by the blood of Dessalines. Ain't nobody messing with me. You hear me? That said, I was out in Hotel Montana, and man, the bill came back. I just ate it, just me. I ate a meal. Someone was with me. I had the second meal. Two folks eating a meal. Man, that price came back because of the exchange rate. That price came back. I mean, it's the most I've ever paid for a meal too in the history of being in Haiti. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. And so we're going to be talking about that today, get a little more detail. International aid, of course, we got to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about international aid today. That's always something that some interesting things are happening that we just certainly need to talk about, particularly when it comes to investment. Agriculture, going to finish it up on agriculture. Got some really interesting stuff happening on the agricultural side of things today. So look forward to talking about it. It's going to be a fantastic, great episode. Tune in. Don't go anywhere. Again, if those topics hit you, right? If you feel like, oh, this is going to be some interesting topics, remember, hit the share button, hit the like button. It helps us tremendously, helps the Google machinery, the algorithm, right, to push us up and get the word out of what's going on in the country. So again, hit that share button, share on your stream, hit that like button, okay? All right, and if you're new here, remember, hit the subscribe button too, and hit the notification. All right, sounds good? All right, let's get started. Let's get started with the newscast today, right? So first and foremost, COVID. What's going on? What is going on with COVID? We have 1,512 cases. It's down from 612, cases last week. Sorry, 611, 1,611, right? We have, in the deaths, we only had a single added death from prior week, which is a rather, even that one passing is problematic. But when you look at America, and there's still thousands of people dying per day, it's where we rather be. Right? Dominican Republic, we do got to mention them because we share an island, and what happens there affects us certainly, particularly when we have a very contagious illness like this. And we have 21,375 active cases. They're down about 1,000 active cases from 22,000 last week, right? And the death count is up about 30. And that's actually, I've been looking at these numbers for a while, and this is certainly probably the lowest increase in deaths week to week for Dominican Republic. So certainly Dominican Republic is finally getting containing it. It's a shame those guys didn't come over and grab some of our teas, man. Our teas have kept us A-okay, I promise. In any case, things are certainly moving and continue to move in the right direction. It's probably the third or fourth week I've seen DR, things are going down. And easily the eighth or ninth week, I've seen things going down in Haiti. So it's very good news, good things to see, right? Let's jump into the big headline news. 10,000 Dominican troops at the border. 10,000 Dominican troops at the border. Of course, we talked about this weeks prior. The reason, the rationale behind these troops has been to improve border control. And that's not just for people. Obviously, the illegal immigration is a problem for the Dominican side of things. But more importantly, has been the illegal activity, trafficking of people, and the illegal trafficking of material and goods between both sides, right? Maybe drugs and simply, not applying taxes on goods that are being imported in on either side and traveling across the border. From that perspective, I think the troop coverage that the Dominican Republic is doing is a good thing, right? It's inappropriate to have two countries and you don't have border control, right? In fact, when I've talked to people who grew up in Plateau Central, for example, they talked to me how they were surprised when they moved to Port-au-Prince and they found out they needed a passport to go to Dominican Republic. Like, what you mean? We're going. There's a term for it, right? But there's a term that we're going to the Dominican side today. They go, they buy their stuff, and they come right back, right? And of course, Haiti being a mountainous country, it is very difficult to execute proper border control, right? We don't have necessarily a river or something that makes a delineation, so we get it, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that the border is very porous, right? And so I'm actually in favor for adding security, along the border. Now, of course, everyone watching this, I think everyone watching this would prefer that it's a joint venture between Haitian troops and Dominican troops. We certainly would hope for parity. So if there's 10,000 Dominican troops, we would also want 10,000 Haitian troops for parity, right? But given that only under Jovenel Moise that we actually rebooted our military, and our military is only a few hundred people. We have a long way to go before matching the numbers and training and sophistication of the Dominican military at this point in time, right? But most importantly, the diversity of the troop coverage. That's one thing we really wanted to talk about today, right? And we had some hard statistics and hard metrics as it relates to distribution as it relates to the Dominican military. And we have exactly 8,672 members of the Army that are, actively surveilling the border. We have 153 Navy members. That's one thing we're going to talk about. 153 Navy professionals who are military professionals who are also patrolling the waters bordering the Dominican Haiti, right? We have 83 from the Air Force. That's right. The Dominicans have an Air Force. Right? Us in Haiti, we're still trying to build up our land forces. They have an Air Force, and they have 83 members who are surveilling between helicopters and different types of planes along the border, right? And also they have 702 specialized corps, a specialized corps called CESFRONT, right? And that's the one, and they are specialized, specifically trained and geared for the frontier, right? As we can call them, maybe for those in America, Customs Patrol, right? Customs Patrol is what we can call them, right? And they have 702 of those folks there. In addition, they have 18 specialized, even extra specialized, post-security corps, right? And then finally, they have 120 intelligence officers from the Joint Chiefs of Staff, right? A sort of pseudo CIA sort of deal that they have going on there, FBI sort of deal that handles particular investigations, and try to get ahead of any organized activity that may be happening along their border, right? And when it comes to this distribution of the Dominicans, we're looking at they have about a third around the north border, have about a third in the central, right, and you have about a third on the southwest border of Haiti. Okay, so pretty evenly dispersed across the entire border, and their goal is that they're for too long they've had just these middle of nowhere outposts, very ill-connected, isolated military posts for so long that have been extremely ineffective for proper border security, and they're really trying to build a full network and full infrastructure to help secure their border, right? And again, I can tell you, when you speak to producers here in Haiti, manufacturers and people really trying to build a domestic industry, whatever they're doing, they all tell me the same thing. They say, Chris, it's difficult to try to build business in this country when these traffickers can come in, they pay no tax, right? They obtain their products illegally, and they're competing against my products. It's hard to compete. It's hard to grow a company. It's hard to grow. In fact, we have Haiti already has about 20 plus items that are supposedly banned from coming in from the Dominican side, right? And for example, eggs. Dominican eggs are a nuisance, tremendous nuisance for Haitian egg makers. They're a nuisance for chicken broilers, people who have chicken operations here in the country, because they come in untaxed and they compete. They're on the market being sold, by by the very same people who would have purchased from them, right? And this is sort of problems that a very weak border, right? A very weak border, right? A very weak border that that I'm actually, believe it or not, may be controversial, that I am more than happy to, as they say, tip the chapeau, as they say, to help secure the border. But again, we just wish that it was coming more from the Haitian side of things, much more Haitian organized, and the Haitian state was putting much more concerted effort on this effect, right? That's where I'm gonna end that news story, right? And I think, maybe half a dozen Dominicans who are watching right now, you see, nothing negative. Folks are ready for me to say something negative about it. I wish this dude would say something about Dominican Republic. I wish this dude would. Right? So that's that news story. Let's move on. The government has, well, I got Ido saying sending troops to the border is still sketchy. As I said last week, and I will repeat this week. Dominicans don't want no smoke. They're not coming over. Right? They're not coming over here. We had a little border dispute that happened a few months back, and trust me, the local people did a great job in defending what they felt was an incursion upon their land, and it was a very big incident that happened. And I can tell you, if we had it back in when the Americans were here in the 1950s and 30s, it was very hard for them to rule because regular Haitians would constantly be a nuisance to their activities, sabotage and small guerrilla-like warfare that happened throughout the entire time the Americans were here. And listen, there was Afghanistan in terms of small tactical military operations that happened all the time against the Americans that were here. And I can tell you, it would happen again if the Dominicans decided to cross over, take their 10,000 troops and cross over. But don't worry, in a country of 12 million people, and of that, a lot of them are young men, young, healthy young men, 20 to 30, with not much to do. Believe me, it would be very problematic if the Dominicans actually crossed over into Haiti, right? And let's leave it at that. I know some folks are thinking, I'm seeing some comments in there. I'll just end it with that piece of commentary on that, right? But again, I will double down and say, we do need border security. It's bad for our economy to have porous borders, right? And so, we need it. If the Haitian government's not going to do it, I'll take it from the Dominicans, right? So next up, we have the government. Government modifies transport prices. I'm not going to go into the details of specifically what went where, but the range of prices, for long range. When we say long range, we're talking about from one city to another, from one area of the country to another, like from Port-au-Prince to Jérémie, for example, Port-au-Prince to Okap, etc., Port-au-Prince to Saint Marc, etc. We saw as much as a 5 to 10 good decrease in prices. And for short distances, I'm talking about in the city, they announced a 1 to 3 good difference for short range in the city prices, right? But unfortunately, as much this gesture is being critiqued heavily, is being critiqued almost as heavily as a decrease in gas prices that were announced last week. The simple fact that it's not enough. When you compare the loss of the exchange rate, when you have Haitians who are still being supported by their family abroad, to Haiti, right? And how last week sending over $100 would give you 12,000 good. Now this week, $100 gives you 6,000 good, right? A lot of folks are questioning, wait a minute, what's really going on here? This is not enough. You only decrease it for most people 1 to 3 good, and I can tell you, not too many drivers, not too many people actually have one good centime, voila, right? And so what does that really mean? Like, who's going to actually, stop? When we talk about the transporters, the top drivers, are they really going to give one good less? And I can tell you from what I'm hearing on the streets, a lot of people are actually actively laughing at this announcement, but for two reasons. First off, the prices that are referenced as what the original was and what the original was announced to be, a lot of them are like, wait a minute, you're saying the original price was 500 good to go from here to Seejeanty, but I just came from Seejeanty and I was charged 1,200 good. So what do you mean? So even the baseline prices are wrong, which the Ministry of what ministry is this? Announced. Like, I got to look at my article. They were wrong in the price points which were being referenced. And secondly, even in the cases where they're right, a lot of drivers are saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to charge that simply because over the past few months between pay lock, I haven't been able to support my family. I haven't been able to make any money, right? This is an opportunity for me to make up for a lot of lost time." And secondly, the cost is still very high for me, right? Because during the time where the good depreciated to 120 good, there's still a lot of products, even though some products are starting to finally, go in the other direction. A lot of products are still very high. A lot of products are still extremely high, right? And so we're not going to decrease what we're charging because what we're spending our money on hasn't really decreased. And even the gas prices, even though that reduced by just a little bit, like 5 good, 3 good or so, last week, they're certainly still very expensive for me, driving a beat up top that has terrible fuel economy. And so a lot of drivers we're hearing on the street is saying, yeah, what are you going to do? Arrest us, right? Because that's another big thing, has been the issue of enforcement. Right? There isn't much of an enforcement apparatus, even for serious crimes in Haiti, much less for smaller, egregious day-to-day crimes, such as charging people a fair transport price, right? So that's where we're at. We'll keep an eye on, and we'll be polling people that in terms of what they're being charged, and are we seeing an actual decrease in that charge rate? But even in the case where the charge rate is actually respected, it is still too small for the majority of Haitians to generally appreciate. And a lot of folks are saying it was symbolic decrease. It doesn't mean anything, right? Moving on, talking about the financial situation of the country. Let's talk about the currency exchange rate. Let's talk about that. A big part of the new government regulations, we talked about this before, but I didn't necessarily go into this aspect of it, so I want to take some time and talk about it today, has been the fact that a big part of the new government regulations require formally that all currency transferred in USD, so if it came transferred to USD or whatever currency, it needs to be exported or taken out or collected by the recipient, right, in good, right? And really quick, shouts out to Vito Bruno, hats off with a $9.99 donation, much appreciated. Your funds are going to go to the war chest. That's going to allow us to help us do things like go outside of the city and do some much more impactful projects. So I want to thank you so much for it, much appreciated. And again, it's going to go far. It's not going to be squandered. I certainly appreciate it very much, Vita. You're a true MVP. Thank you so much, sir. So that we've already expressed, that we've already shared on Seejeanty, right? But one thing we didn't really make it very clear is that the exchange rate must be exchanged at the rate set by the central bank, right? The central bank is the one saying, hey, this is what you're going to exchange rate. Now, before, the way it was, right? Before, the way it was that independent money transfer agents set their own rates, which is a little crazy if you think about it, right? They couldn't obviously go too far in terms of charge, because another place would just undercut them and charge a better rate, and people would go there, right? But there was a sort of informal I'm about to butcher the word there, but very informal understanding between money transfers. So, you know what, we're not going to go too far. But at the same time, too, if you go up a little bit, actually, you should try to come up to us. So we had an inverse relationship when it came to prices adjusting so that everyone in a particular area could benefit, right? And it's gotten to the point where, and by the way, formally, only retail and commercial banks are allowed some deviation, right? Only retail and commercial banks are allowed to deviate somewhat from this express rate, right? And so what that means, in addition, by the way, if I can get that, go further, 30% of all transfers, the central bank has interjected themselves into the transfer market, and 30% of transfers must come through the central bank now. And that's how the central bank is regulating those prices, right? As always, whenever you hear a regulation in Haiti, always ask yourself, okay, great, they have this regulation, they have this new decree, but how are they going to enforce it? Right? And the central bank, being one of the few institutions that actually thinks about enforcement, your policy is only good as you can enforce it. They've said that, hey, 30% of all transfers have to come through us first, and we will supervise, and we will make sure that our decree is followed. Our decree that, not only must they be received in good, but they must be done at the exchange rate that we set. And your next question is going to be, okay, how do they set that exchange rate? How do they go about it? And so they said, so there was a forex market for good in dollars and Canadian dollars and euros. And so whatever it was trading for yesterday, right, the mid price between the buy price and the sell price is what the price they're going to list on their website and policy guide for money transfers to follow, right? And so what this has meant was that a lot of money transfers, they made their profit. They existed by the little difference they could charge, a little difference between the actual rate that they would acquire from good from a bank, and then what they could then around in turn sell to people coming in and collecting their money, right? And they used to make double money because a lot of times when this is unofficially, when you sent your money through as good, then and you needed dollars, they would, even though it was supposed to come in dollars already, they would give it to, oh, we don't have any good, I'm sorry, here's the good. And you know what? Here is, if you want to buy dollars, here, buy the dollars from us. But wait a minute, and you'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. Didn't you say you have dollars? Yeah, we don't have dollars to give out, but we do have a stash that that's specifically reserved for people to buy them. So if you want to buy them, you can, right? And so your exchange rate, for anyone who has sent money and understands how exchange rates work, right? Every time you transfer your money from one exchange rate to another, you lose a little bit of something, right? And so you lose it twice. So if you sent over $100, when you exchange it to good, it would be maybe, let's say, $99, in the equivalence, right, in good. And then when you change it back to dollars, it's about $98, $97. So you just lost $3 on that same $100 because of switching it between currencies. You guys follow me, right? And so, this obviously was, this very close borderline of illegal, right? To do that, but it happened. Nobody was saying anything. Right? And because now, and this is how a lot of these money transfer places made their money, right? And now the central bank says, wait a minute, this ain't happening. Not necessarily that the current, understand something, the central bank and the government, they don't really care that it's screwing people over. That's not their concern, because it's been happening as long as this dual system of money in Haiti and people sending money over has been happening since the 90s. So they didn't suddenly wake up and with a conscience. Understand the reason why is that, which I'm going to get to my bigger point, because the next question is, Seejeanty, why is this happening? Why is this happening, right? It's because when the way they've been doing it, they've had very little control. The government, the central bank, have had very little control on the exchange rate itself, right? It's been the wild, wild west, right? And which has allowed the money transfers to allow, they've effectively, there's been too much dollars in the open economy, right? And the fact that there's been so many dollars, right? Has caused a effect, have negatively affected the value, right? The demand for the good, right? Because when there's less demand for the good, the value, right, is going to go down. If you follow, right? And the other side of things is there's been, the actual professional traders of currency, the banks, right, have through their, there's a report that came out before this ruling came out. Not this again. This isn't Seejeanty making this up. This isn't Seejeanty being a conspiracy theorist. We don't do that here, right? The central bank themselves published, and it's still on the central bank's website of Haiti. Right? Just type in BRH Haiti, and you'll find that article. Right? The central bank published how much money that all these banks were making through the exchange rate. And this is back when the exchange rate was falling from 80 to 90 to 100 to 110 to 120. They were making millions upon millions of dollars by simply buying from the central bank and then selling to the open market, right? And or selling from the open market, holding it, and then selling it again to another party. And all this activity, all this speculation had a very negative effect on our currency. That's why the Haitian good was at 120 in early August. Right? Central bank, under guidance of Jovenel Moise, said enough is enough. Pressure, enough's enough. The fact that we're at 120, such a short period of time. Yes, the dollar was rising in terms of its strength around the world, but its percentage increase here was unnatural, right? The fact that we're on 20 was unnatural, right? And so the central bank cracked down. They put these policies in place, policies that said, hey, all transfers have to happen in good when you receive it. Secondly, they redoubled down on the fact that all prices, hey, reminder, the lay of the land, the price, the currency of the land is good. Trade in it, right? That's the legal tender of this country. Trade in it, right? Actually put some enforcement. Actually, they arrested one of the owners of Valerio Canes. For those who know Haiti, Valerio Canes is a major retail company, probably the largest or second largest retail company in Haiti, right? And the Haitian government arrested one of their owners because of the fact that when they had a specialized task force that is going around and going to different places and are reviewing the prices of things, saw that when they went to Valerio Canes' store, the prices were in dollars rather than good, right? And so right there, they arrested the highest level person there, and they went to jail, and went to justice, went to Minas Justice, where they appeared in front of a judge and they're being charged a fine and etc. Of course, they have lawyers. Don't worry for him. He's not going to be in the overcrowded jails for too long. Don't you worry about that. But don't save the violin for him a little later, right? But the point of it is that the government is making a very strong stance and made an example out of one of their largest retailers in the country, right? So they're taking it very serious, right? And so when you sit here today, almost passed by a very important fact. About a day or two after they announced these policies, they hit two of the largest forex traders of good with massive fines, multi-million-dollar fines. We've talked about this on Seejeanty before. That equaled about 30% of their annual revenue for the past year. And that was Capital Bank and Seejeanty Bank, right? So when you sit back And by the way, let me take a quick second and give a shout out to Ernest Nicola. Ernest, thank you, real MVP. Thank you, sir, for the $10 sticky donation there. Much appreciated. Your true MVP. The funds are going to go towards executing bigger projects and add it to the war chest, as I like to say. So I want to thank you so much. Much appreciated for the donation. It will be used efficiently and effectively for the stuff we got going on here. So Ernest, thank you so much, brother. Very much appreciated. And so when you look back and you sit and you see what's happening right now in Haiti, in the good, it's certainly political. Certainly understand that. It's very political. Right? And arguably needed, because when you go to Dominican Republic, for example, okay, what's the first thing you have to do? Anyone who's been to Dominican Republic, they'll tell you, right? You can't use dollars in the Dominican Republic. You can't. You have to use Dominican pesos. You have to. You go to any country in the world, right? My friends who been to Mexico, right, for example, most places, I want to say all, your boy hasn't been to Mexico, so I can't firsthand tell you. I can tell you about Dominican Republic. I've been to Dominican Republic two or three times. I can tell you firsthand. And you go to other places like Colombia, and I've been to Brazil. I can tell you, you have to use the Brazilian currency when you're in Brazil. There is no this dual nonsense. You have to change your money and use the currency of the country. It only makes sense, right? But in Haiti for too long, you could very easily give dollars in almost any place, and that was acceptable, right? And so, as much as I've been very critical of the exchange rate, and it's been hurting a lot of people. In fact, I'm gonna go as far, and when it comes to hurting people, I mean, we're in dire straits here. The textile industry, the textile and other domestic industrialists, those who depend heavily on bringing products in and potentially reselling it exteriorly, and depending on a lot of their revenues depend on dollars. They're hurting right now. In fact, the textile industry said that, if nothing is done by the end of this month, they'll be letting go 25,000 employees. You hear me? I'm gonna say that again. They're going to let go 25,000 employees of the textile industry. And textile industry, understand something. Textile industry employs 53,000 employees. So when you hear figures that they're saying they're going to have to let go 25,000, that's over half of the industry. Half. Right? You follow me, guys? Right? So even myself, I alluded to it last week, and I had to follow through with it this week when I saw there was no change in the currency. And I had a very difficult day one of these days this week, where I had to do one-on-one meetings with the folks who work for me, my staff here, the different ventures I have operating here in the country. And news like this, you don't let your HR person, you don't let your manager, you don't let anyone else. You step up as a man and you look this person in the face, in the eye, and you tell them, look, here's the situation. Either we restructure the salaries here, or we're out of business. We restructure the salaries here, or you don't have a job, because I can't. There is no cash vote here. We have to. What comes in has to balance out what's going out, right? There's no additional investors here for a lot of things we do here. I'm doing here, just this guy, one guy right here, right? Very difficult conversation, right? And so when I speak and I say this is, in the grand scheme of things, a good thing for Haiti. Understand, it's a bad thing on an individual level for a lot of businesses, right? Now, that said, I think one thing about doing business in Haiti is that, you don't come here and you don't adjust, right? Between pay locks, between gas outages, where we went weeks without gas, electricity outages here. We're here in this office, I'm talking to you, we went a full month without electricity, right? You don't come here and do business and think and allow forces outside your control to beat you up. The first things folks will tell you is, oh man, you can't do business in Haiti. Well, maybe you can. But those who are here, we make it do what it do. But listen, when you come and fly into Haiti, Haiti's not devoid of businesses. Right? And every type of business you would want already exists here. Right? Every business. Right? But what it means is the people running it, we have to be flexible. And we have to do hard things, right? Hard choices, when it comes to how we operate our ventures here, right? To try to stay in business. Because the government, certainly, the better way to have gone about doing this would have been to announce to the population in the business industry, hey, the next 6 months, our goal is to get to 60 good for $1. And folks would have laughed, right? Folks would say, oh, what? Man, you tripping. You ain't getting no 60 good. But I tell you what, after that first month, you get from 120 to 110, it was like, huh. And that next month, you got from 110 to 100, business would have started taking you serious. And right away, they would have started adjusting. Their contracts, their relationships, their supply relationships, they would have started renegotiating, right? There are people that are hiring and bringing on board, they're going to start, pegging their potential salaries at a rate where that's equal to what the exchange rate is going to be. They're going to start to slowly renegotiate compensation packages for their senior staffs in line with what's happening. And so when every other month you get from 100 to 90, 90 to 80, 80 to 70, 70 to 60, it's not, oh, IG, we're going to be out. We're going to be off on IG. Come to YouTube. Come to Facebook. IG, come to Facebook. Come to YouTube. Sorry, guys. Sorry. IG won't let me. It'd be great. All right. That's one thing that's so annoying about IG. It only gives you 1 hour. That's a shame. I had quite a good amount of people on IG today, which was very encouraging to have seen that. In any case, let's put that to bed there. Close this phone here. Right. And so, I think the big picture of what's happening and the fact that, we have better control of our currency is great. And ultimately, we'll see what the net job effect loss is. Right? Thankfully, I haven't had to let anyone go from my companies. And we'll see, I can tell you a lot of companies much rather keep their people than let them go. And so we'll see what is done at the economy as a whole, and what the ultimate job loss is going to be, right? But that is the ultimate situation that we have here in Haiti. The currency exchange rate is doing incredible amount of dégâts in the country, and we need to take time. A lot of folks are saying, come on, all right, Chris, I see, Seejeanty, we get it. But no, this is important, right? Folks watching this really have to understand, generally have to understand, that this currency exchange issue is the worst crisis that the business community in Haiti has faced in the time I've been here, the 3-4 years I've been here. And that says a lot. Between pay lock, right, between all these different things that we've experienced, here in this country, for me to sit and tell you this is the worst crisis the business community is facing, that tells you a lot, right? So it's, trust me, I don't want to be experiencing it, much less talking about it, but it needs to be talked about. I want to say a big shout out, big appreciative to nightsreview.com. We got $20 in the house. We appreciate it so much. That money is going to go to the war chest. We certainly appreciate that disbursement. It helps tremendously what we're trying to do here. It helps us with equipment, helps us with, in particular, trying to go out into the country and do different things. Like, we have an incredible set of episodes coming out. As I said, Jockmail, and a big part of the reason why we're going to be able to do these episodes of Jockmail in the coming late month is because of donations like the one we just received from nightsreview.com. So Nights Review, thank you so much. It's much appreciated. You're a true MVP, and thank you so much for that contribution. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Right? Next up has to do with international aid. International aid. Right? We have the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, DFC. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, DFC. The Chief Executive Officer, Adam Boyer. I'm saying the name right. Boiler. Yeah, there it is. Boiler. Right? Adam Boiler went on a tour, a Caribbean tour, where he visited Dominican Republic, Suriname, Guyana, Jamaica, Haiti, from October 13th to October 15th. The express goal was to advance growth. The express goal was to advance growth and private sector investment and economic security in the country, right? That was the express goal. They committed to Haiti anywhere between 20 million to $100 million of possible investments. Again, 20 mil to $100 million of possible investments, right? Which I can tell you has a lot of people angry. Well, wait a minute, Seejeanty, wait a minute, people are angry? What do you mean? 20? They donated. I mean, they're saying they're committing $100 million of possible investments of small, companies towards the private sector in the country to advance and do things. Is that a good thing, Seejeanty? It is. But check this out. They've committed $2 billion to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to say it again. They've committed $100 million to Haiti, but they're committing $2 billion to the Dominican Republic. So, as you can imagine, we have people up in arms and pretty angry about the imbalance of focus, right? At the very least, should have a little bit of parity, right, versus the two countries. And certainly maybe Haiti needs more. Haiti should have more money. They're doing A-OK from the perspective of a lot of people, right? The total portfolio of the DFC in the Caribbean, by the way, is about $500 million. Right? And the DFC actually has a portfolio worldwide of around $60 billion. I mean, they have quite the investment portfolio that they're working with here, right? And 500 mil, right? So when you say they're looking to give, they're looking to very much expand their Caribbean holdings, right? And again, if you're at 500 mil right now, giving Haiti 100 mil, that's a sizable portion, almost 1/5 to 1/6, just in addition to their portfolio to Haiti. But of course, they're looking at $2 billion in the Dominican Republic. Now, before I go into the analysis part of this, I want to say a big shout out to, first off, Nildia Turin. Okay, I'm sure I'm butchering the name. Excuse me, Nildia Turin with a $10 donation. I want to thank you so much, Nildia. Your funds are certainly appreciated. We really do. Those amounts, they help tremendously. As I just mentioned, we do a lot of different things with those funds, and I want to give Aido saw the action that was happening in front of my eyes. Aido, oh, no, I don't know about these guys. Aido says, I don't know about these guys, but I'm a long time watcher. I'm giving what I can. So Aido, hats off. I appreciate you as well. Aido and Nilzia. Aido and Nilzia. Aido and Nilzia. I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all both for the donation there. Those funds are going to help tremendously, and everyone who stepped up today, I think we're at $60 or something already today. So I want to appreciate those who were trying to be pretty competitive with the given. Again, they're going to help tremendously with some of the expenditures we got going on in the coming month, for sure. So so much appreciated. Thank you for that. They are going to be added to the war chest. Full transparency is given. Again, every dollar goes to supporting our activities. I don't touch any of those. In fact, one of the reasons why we have much clearer camera and connection is because of the funds that we got that are being given a few months prior, went to buying a very high-end camera for us to do what we're doing here. So hats off, much appreciated, humbled. Thank you so much, and that money is going to be used very effectively. So thank you so much. So as it relates to the analysis of this, listen, guys. The reality is that it doesn't take you'd have to be blind between the situation in Haiti and the situation in the Dominican Republic when it comes to investment. You fly over into DR, the infrastructure is, road infrastructure is light years above where Haiti is. The electricity situation is light years I mean, they have 24/7 electricity at a fraction of the cost in Haiti, in the Dominican Republic. Your money goes farther in the Dominican Republic when it comes to investment, because you don't have to spend so much in the upfront. You can just get going. And though wages are a bit higher in the Dominican Republic, they're still tremendously lower than America, right? And finally, the level of corruption, though I hear can be pretty high, but still, when it comes to registering a business, you can register a business in a day and $100 in the Dominican Republic. It's going to take, for example, I'm going to be in a process very soon here to register some ventures here, and each one is going to cost me $3,000 and upwards of 3 months to register, right? That's a problem. That's a problem, right? And until those sort of fundamental issues are rectified, we can only expect these sort of imbalances to continue in terms of investment, right? Because as much as we had a president in Martini saying Haiti's open for business, until we can structurally attack these sort of issues to make Haiti generally a better place to invest, right? I tell you what, first day I'm president, by the way, I'm never gonna run for office. Use this against me if I ever wake up drunk and I announce it, right? One of the first things I would do, minus making sure trash is enemy number one in Haiti. That's the war on trash, like the number one thing I would do. The very second thing would be structurally attack. It shouldn't cost $3,000 to register a corporation in the country, period. Period and point blank. It should be $100. $100 in a day, just like every other country. And you should be able to do it electronically, right? So until those things start to happen, right, we're going to see big international entities like this U.S. International Development Finance Corporation do things like give Dominican Republic $2 billion and give us here in Haiti $100 million, right? But nonetheless, guys, don't take a gift. Don't. What's the expression? Don't kick a gift horse in the mouth. Or what? How does that go? Anyways, be appreciative of what you're getting. Is the point of that saying. And I can tell you, the $100 million is going to be appreciated by a lot of different businesses that are going to get access to it that normally would not have gotten to it. And understand, $100 million is a lot of money for the Haitian economy. I mean, put it like this: in 2015, Rum Barbancourt made $18 million in revenues. Right? The rum barbancourt that we know sells like hotcakes, sells across the world. It's a very high representative of who we are. Our number one rum, they made $18 million in revenue in 2015. Right? And so $100 million investment, if you were to go to one of the biggest distributors and manufacturers in the country, our rum company, would be a big deal. It would be almost 5 times its revenue, right? And so $100 million, let's look at it for what it is. And it's a lot of money. And in fact, I can tell you, a lot of these entities, when they come to Haiti, they struggle. They struggle because they can't find the companies that are big enough that they can give their money to. I'm gonna say it again. And these companies with just $100 million, believe it or not, they probably would have wanted to come in at $1 billion, but they can't find the companies to give their money to because we don't have enough middle income sort of companies, with good books and good accounting. That's a problem too, to give money to, right? So that's that news story. I want to give a shout out to Sandra Noel. You guys are being real competitive today. I appreciate it. It comes and goes. Some days there's a real fight, to help out what we got going on here. I'll take today being that day, and I want to give a shout out to Sandra Noel, a longtime viewer. I know Sandra Noel has been with us for a long time, and I'm really happy to have. I know she supports us in so many ways. I'm sure Sandra's definitely a subscriber. Definitely shares our videos. I know that. I can just assume that. But the fact that Sandra's given $25 today, I certainly appreciate it, Sandra. Thank you so much. This is going to go to the war chest and allow us to do some really great things here. It certainly is going to make what we got planned for next month a lot more doable, I can tell you. And I think we're pushing somewhere around $85, $90 right now for the day. And so big ups to those donating today. I much appreciate those. And those who are probably giving through Square Cash, I will shout you out next week when I have a chance to take a look at my phone and see who donated through Square Cash, you guys will be recognized tomorrow as well, not tomorrow, next weekend as well. Okay, I promise. All right. So again, thank you, and shouts out to Sandra, much appreciated, humbled, appreciative, and thank you. All right. Now, our next bit of news has to do with agriculture. Our next bit of news has to do with agriculture. Right. First off, we have 300 solar water pumping stations to be installed across the country for the Ministry of Environment. We have 300 solar water panel systems to be installed across the country for the Ministry of the Environment. Right. 17 have already been installed. These solar panels, this infrastructure for it, the material, actually has been donated by the Taiwan. Taiwan has donated these items to us, and a lot of the costs related to the installation is being covered by the United Nations Development Program. And so, again, 300 water pump stations across the country, and these are going to go help farmers and other middle income or middle of nowhere locations that need an easier way to get access to the water that's underground from them. Right? It's going to help with a lot of things when it comes to helping not only townships, helping them, survive and live and do a lot of different things that they need to do, right? But also with actual. I'm looking for a word here. I'm trying to remember the word. God, what's the word I'm looking for? Any case, it'll come to me later. But nonetheless, preparing the soil, preparing the land. Irrigation. I told you it was going to come to me. Irrigation. I'm looking for the word. Right? It's going to help tremendously with irrigation for a lot of the farmers out there. Again, a lot of these farmers, they're by themselves for many of it. And as we know, there is no path forward for Haiti without agriculture being a big part of that response. And so that's phenomenal news. And certainly I look forward to reporting all 300 solar panels are installed. In fact, 17 already been installed. That's great news in of itself, right? Quick shout out to Rendy Vincent with a $10 support. Certainly appreciate it. Much love and much appreciation for it. As I mentioned before, it's going to go and help us do considerable bit of action, because we're about that action here. I think that pushes us that probably makes us 100 for the day. So you guys are really being competitive today, and I certainly appreciate that. Much love, much appreciation for it. So Rendy Vincent, true MVP, thank you. Humble, appreciative, and again, you as episodes come out, everyone who donated today can know that, particularly when that Jacmel series of episodes come out, know that you guys are considered as producers, honorary producers of that episode, because those funds are gonna be going there. And again, everyone else watching, don't feel shame, don't feel on the spot. Share the video, share the video. This video and any video on the network, on the channel, will help us tremendously as well. Right. But again, Rendy Vincent, thank you. Troy VP, thank you so much. Next news story has to do with 7 fiberglass boats have been donated to fishers in the Calumet Islands over in Gandas. Right. We have 7 fiberglass boats with engines donated to the Calumet Island fishermen over in Gandas. Right. These boats are 15 horsepower. They were purchased by the public treasury and distributed by the Ministry of Agriculture. And that's one thing we don't ever talk about here enough. We talk about agriculture, but fish are a big industry here in Haiti. In fact, I mean, when you come to Haiti, one of the things I'm sure anyone will know, one of the best things they'll put in their mouths if they ever come to Haiti will be our fish. Between lambi, that comes from the ocean, hello, and then the fried snappers and et cetera that we love. We grew up, a lot of Haitians, wherever you grew up on, that's caught in Haiti by fishermen, right? And so the support of fishermen is extremely important. In fact, just last month or a month before last, we had a tremendous tragedy of somewhere around 20 plus people losing their lives trying to transport between Ile La Tortue and the mainland. A sailboat, which is very commonly used for different reasons, wasn't seaworthy. They tried anyways, and as you can imagine, a lot of Haitians don't know how to swim, and worst of all, a lot of them weren't wearing life jackets, and so over 20 plus people passed away, and so these sort of activities by the Haitian government, by the way, because I can tell you, it is, though, while it is appreciative to see the USAID and all these development agencies, the ones leading and giving, to different segments of our economy and our population, and needed. I'm never gonna not say it's needed and not say great work. It's problematic when you don't have your government stepping up and doing what needs to be doing to support its people, right? And so seeing instances of this, I can tell you, Minister of Agriculture, whatever your criticism may be of the government at large, the Minister of Agriculture does a pretty good job of really trying to fulfill its mission and get agriculture at work. Certainly, we wish the Minister of Agriculture had doubled their budget, right? In fact, in the last, I can't speak to this one, but the last budget, their budget actually shrunk about 20 to 30%. We haven't had a chance to dig into the budget this year that just came out about a week or two ago. But certainly, the Ministry of Agriculture needs a much larger, higher budget. Okay, so that's that news story. Caribbean Cafe. Real quick shout out, much appreciated Caribbean Cafe. First time I'm seeing Caribbean Cafe even in the channel. So don't be shy, Caribbean Cafe. Always drop a comment, say what's up, drop a question or anything you want to say ever. And again, if your first time here, make sure you subscribe. But certainly appreciate you providing a 10.999. It's very, very helpful. Going to help us considerably to do what we do here at Seejeanty and some of the content we have going on. It's going to be added. It's going to be added to the war chest. So I want to thank you so much for taking the hard-earned coins and showing your support for what we got going on here. It's those sort of donations that really empower us here and certainly allows us to do things not only as if we're going to do in Jacmel, but also some of the much bigger things I'm looking to do here at the Haiti Biz News mission. And I am seriously considering opening up a second channel and hiring an actual journalist, hiring a second videographer, and having them dedicate to producing Haiti Biz and Haiti Biz News content. There's a need for it. There's a need for this 7 days a week or 5-6 days a week, and not just a 1 day episodic thing, right? So at Caribbean Cafe, thank you so much. Very encouraging, and I want to thank everyone who's given so far today. We're for sure over $100 today, so certainly appreciate it. And the final news story has to do with 7,000 farmers. 7,000 farmers to gain state assistance in the NIPEZ department. NIPEZ department is the department that is around Miagouane. Miagouane is just east of Port-au-Prince, right? And specifically the towns of Anzivio, Vao, Anziavao, voila. Always, it's like jumping rope the first two times. You kind of trip up a little bit. Anzivao, and you have a Petit Rivière, and then you have a Palian. Okay, three towns in the NIPEZ area. And they're getting quite a bit of support from the Ministry of Agriculture, being funded primarily through the United Nations and USAID initiatives, right? Where they're looking to get distribution of 8,000 yam cuttings, 20 tons of black beans to plant, right? And 4,000 banana suckers and compost as well, right? In addition to several thousand fruit and forest trees, including citrus trees, right? And so these Anzevo, merci Isaac, Anzevo, I'll take that. So in other words, they're getting donations of material to plant, right? In addition to training and support from the Ministry of Agriculture. That's 7,000 farmers. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of impact for this season, because usually these farmers would have to go and purchase and go on credit. And certainly these are, and secondly, also, these are coming from, a lot of these are coming from, actually, there's a center in the South that Jovenel Moise himself started, several hectares. There's about 4 of them. We talked about it last episode. There's about 4 of these centers all across the country that are actually producing these seedlings, right? And so then these aren't things being imported. These are native to the country. And these are actually being provided to the farmers in the Nipes area in the specific cities I just mentioned, right? So these are exceptionally good news. These are the news that I love to report on. This is the news I know a lot of you guys like to hear about. You like to hear about, what's actually happening on the ground that give us hope. Us in the diaspora or outside, or even a lot of us. Tell you, a lot of folks who are watching from Haiti don't know these things are happening, right? And so again, that's why we're here. That's why Haiti Biz News is here, because there's no Bloomberg for Haiti. There isn't a CNBC for Haiti, right? There isn't a Fox Business for Haiti. If we're not talking about it here, I don't see anyone else talking about these sort of necessary things, to encourage us who are development minded to work, impact, and do business here, right? Because these things are happening and they do exist. All right. So that's the end of the news portion of the episode, right? I want to thank you guys who watched from the very beginning to the very end. I know there's some guys here like Seejeanty. Actually, hold on, my power's about to go out. Let me 1 second, guys. Plug this bad boy in before I go black. Give me 1 second, folks. All right. I know a lot of folks who are saying, "Listen, man, you need to compact that news story, man. I want to hear what you're saying, but compact it so I can grab my news pieces and go on my day." And so, for the folks who are here strictly for the news piece, merci beaucoup for your participation in today's episode. Right. The next portion of the episode has to do with me reading the comments. As I promised folks who drop comments, we're going to read every single one of them before we go here, right? And so I'm about to scroll up and I'm about to read them all. But before I do, I'm going to take a quick 1 minute break. We just went an hour and 34 minutes aggressively here. So I'm going to go take a quick 1 minute break. We'll be right back and we're going to read the comments. All right. So this is your opportunity, guys. If you have any questions, anything in general you want to talk about, any news that you know about that you want me to comment on, this is your chance to ask it. This is your chance for us to have a conversation. This part of the episode is really just us talking, chatting, hanging out, right? We're going to be here until I get to the very end of the comments. All right. So, and by the way, a lot of times I can't, usually my comment stream only goes up to maybe an hour or so. And so do redrop it. The last comment I saw was actually Jonathan Lamar. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you, brother. He's in Africa right now, watching from Malawi. Hey, watching from Malawi. So Jonathan, our honorary Haitian, I always say that, the sort of work he's been doing and the Creole he's been dropping. He's the last thing I saw. So anyone who dropped, should send a message around 11:40 or before 11:40, you better want to repost that question. I won't see it. And for some reason, too, I haven't really been able to see Facebook comments for some reason. It's very weird. I haven't been able to see Facebook comments. And so for those who are on Facebook right now really want a question asked or want me to really engage with something you want to know, come over to YouTube and drop the comment, because I've noticed I haven't really been. And after the fact, after I go and I go to my YouTube page and I see what was there, I see, man, most of these comments I don't get, which is very weird to me. So 100% sure if you want to get your comment read, do come over to YouTube and ask it again. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna be right back. Give me 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. It's Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Right? Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macro. All right, we're back. Trust me. You want me to take a quick little break just so I can get my full energy up, so I can fully engage in the conversation, right? And so here we are. And again, I want to thank everyone who stuck around, who's been watching from the very beginning. I appreciate you. I know that your Sundays are precious and the time you guys take to not only inform yourselves about Haiti. I appreciate it a lot. I can tell you, seeing the numbers on our streams, encourages me because I'm not a pretty guy, right? And usually it's pretty ladies who, usually get these numbers. So I appreciate it. It's very encouraging to know that we have a large amount of people who really care about what's going on in Haiti from a genuine business economic perspective, and who interested enough to stick around to learn about what's going on and ultimately how they can impact. So thank you guys. Right? So let's get just hop right in there. We got Dimitri in the house. What's up, man? Saying thanks for the info. Keep up the good work. Thank you, brother. We got David's Prods. He's saying, man, we're not scared that they can have 100K at the border. We are not scared. I think he's challenging. I think David's was challenging there. Let's see. We only have 10K. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. What else? Said we used to have an Air Force. Yeah, but I think I don't know. We had a plane or two. I don't know if we would call that Air Force, but I don't know too. I don't really know for sure. But I don't remember ever seeing a fleet of Air Force One squadrons flying above Haiti or hearing about that. But nonetheless, one day we shall. Right? Let's see. I think Haiti military have a recruitment in Plateau Central. I don't remember. Okay, good stuff. Thanks for David Prods. That information. Got Wesley Compre. What's up, man? Wesley in the house. What's up, Wesley? Good morning, brother. Always happy to have you. Wesley says, I'm on the white man time. Wait, but I mean, if you're late though, is that the white man's time? We got Aido folks says, but why the DR stop products which are banned? Why would the DR ban from getting into Haiti? It makes their side wealthier. And that's the thing. Like I always question, how effective are they from the other side? Like, obviously, they're going to do their best to prevent things coming in. But how effective are they preventing things going out? Right? We don't know. Right? Certainly, the incentives would be to have our troops on our side preventing that. Right? A great question. I can't answer that. Right? J. George in all caps says Dominican government asked the EU to grant free visas to Dominicans going to European countries. EU demanded that they stop kicking out Haitians from DR in order to grant the demand. Ain't that something? Is that true, J. George? If that's true, send me the article. I like to read that. Right? That would be an ultimate just desserts if that was the case. So J. George, feel free and send me that article. Right? Vito Bruno. It's okay. We got your back. Appreciate that. B's family says used to live in Hollywood, Florida. Let's see. Says Edo says it's our responsibility, just like we have a responsibility. Music Lover 2 says, I don't think the DR troops are going to regulate those items Haitians don't want to come into Haiti. It would be better if the Haiti did. Of course, I certainly agree with you, Music Lover, no doubt. Dave Price follows up, says, I'll take Juth. He's in the government. So I'm going to tell him, to tell the president to deploy at least 2K troops, because according to Google in 2018, they have 5K troops. All right, thanks for those numbers updates. I wasn't too sure how many Haiti had. I know we had a few hundred at least. Our first round of recruitment was in a few hundred. I wasn't sure if we can see how we've been doing on that, right? So thanks for that. Let's see what else we got here. Over 80% of the Haitian population is under 25 years old. That's about right. Haiti is a very young country. That's one reason why the coronavirus didn't do so well here, because there were so many young people here, right? That's one part of it as well. Right? Let's see what we got. Aunt Adam in the house. Good morning. Haven't seen Aunt Adam yet. Good morning. Let's see. Yep. David Pro is talking about the time I described as well about the skirmish that happened, right? Let's see. Music Lover says they usually use Instagram people. That's the way usually inform the Instagram. Okay, that's right. I was informing them that they're going to be locked out. Thank you for that, Music Lover. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we have in the chats? The Jovenel government has always been doing a good job. Listen, the stability that has come out when the executive branch has been able to work, right? And Parliament isn't there blocking them, right? It's appreciated, I can tell you. And actually, the Parliament coming back, I'm actually dreading. A lot of people are dreading because these guys make a lot of money, and there seems to be correlation between when parliamentarians, right, are making money and money being funneled to rioters, gangsters, banzi, right? There seems to be a correlation between that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not alluding to anything. I'm just saying, right, that seems to me as if since the money has dried up from when the parliament was in session and things have more or less been a bit quiet, it seems the executive branch has been able to actually do some work that is substantial. We talked about the fact that they changed the penal code to update it to include crimes that weren't even thought about. We talked about how they've updated the civic code, right, this year as well, to update and modernize the civic code, right? And in addition to other things like pushing the exchange rate down and making real progress towards electricity, right? And so, we can tell you that, the mood on the ground against Jovenel, I can tell you, that's one reason why yesterday wasn't as because usually the Dessalines day is usually filled with a lot of protests. In fact, past few years, in fact, has usually been a firecracker day where you really don't go out, right? Because the streets are blocked, right? To pay lockdowns that was happening. But this year, I can tell you, given the things he's done to appease, even though they're symbolic, a lot of people are saying, and I can even somewhat agree, they've certainly helped. Look at the price of food because of the exchange rate. A lot of foods have gone down somewhat. Nowhere as much as what people are receiving now, but they've gone down somewhat. They certainly add to this image that's being built right now. That Jovenel isn't maybe he's not that bad, right? I'm not saying that's not my opinion. I'm just telling you what people are saying, what people are saying on the streets, right? Let's see. Who said DR wants to invade Haiti and for what purpose? No one said that. No one has said that. So, all right. No one has said that. All right. Let's see what else folks are saying. Okay, Jay George is saying something there about the world. It's being tough for the world. I gotcha. Aido says, can't wait for the book. Listen, one of the things as soon as I get off this live, I am going back to the book, make some real progress here. I think by end of October, the goal is to be done with my revisions, and then from there, we're working on the book cover. We'll try to get it to a professional editor to kind of, give it a once over, make sure I ain't missing anything. And then again, we're looking end of. I would love to be able to say end of November. That would be a dream, but certainly for sure, end of December is going to be out. All right. So yeah, thanks, Aido. All right. What else? Seejeanty, how many business ventures do you have in Haiti? Too many. Too many. Like gladly, I have incredible employees, incredible teams that I've built that helped me manage the things I've managed. But I have quite a few to answer your question. Jose Isit says, Jose Lodboa, do you think the dollar is going to keep going down? I hope not. I mean, there's been some economists who've said, it may go down to 50, 150 good for a dollar. It's tough. It's tough, man. I think hopefully it stays where it's at, because it's tough to go down anymore than it's already gone down. It's tough, right? I mean, a meal that usually would cost me $30 cost me the other day. It cost me about $80-ish. All right, so it's tough. That's just me, right? So it's tough. Hopefully it doesn't. All right. Jay George says, I don't see the Square Cash. I don't use the Square Cash cap. I want you to send to Super Check. But, all right, thank you so much, Jay George. Go ahead and do it. Going through the channel. I want to send a Super Check to your channel. I don't know what that means, but electronic is the best way to go. A lot of different electronic ways to go, and you're definitely more welcome. My contact information is usually in the contact is in the comments of my video. Though I don't think I put it in this one, but I'll put it after the video. So feel free to send a message. And when it comes to help and support what we got going on here, certainly you're always, we'll create ways to allow you to do that further if the current ways you can't do it. But nonetheless, thank you for that. The IE Edo says the textile industry is due to lose much more employees. The world is changing, unfortunately, but it's not because of the world. Right? In fact, we should be growing in the industry because we've just recently passed the Caribbean Basin Trade Act, which is part of the HOPE Act, which allows for a very special privileged position of our textile imports. So if anything, we should be growing in that, but the fact that we're not is simply because the exchange rate is really devastating the cost basis for a lot of the employees, especially companies, especially given their situation and circumstance right now, right? Let's see. I heard YouTube takes 30% of Super Chat money. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's why, Square Cash is always quite a bit more appreciated, and that goes a bit further. But nonetheless, however folks, want to provide, and the convenience folks provide, the Super Chat provides, I certainly will not discount it, right? So however folks want to give, we will take that. Yeah, 30% is quite a bit. Square Cash, nothing's taken out. So those who know, we really want to impact. Those who know use Square Cash, but again, however folks want to give, and the ease of use that Super Chats provide, so certainly appreciate it, right? Let's see what else are folks saying. That is for the Haitian business community to push the government to do the right thing. The business community is trying to, has been trying for a long time for the Haitian government to do the right thing as it relates to providing more opportunity for them. That the Haitian government usually is not concerned about doing the right thing. The Haitian government, and I'm talking about the parliamentarians in particular, they're more interested in what can you do to my pocketbook and not what the country needs as a whole, right? That's just the reality, unfortunately, right? We can use the trash as a waste to energy power plants to solve the trash problem. That is certainly a solution that I wish a government would take serious. Even the Jovenel administration, I don't quite understand. They're pushing so aggressively for electricity, but yet if they were to also, at least for one of the channels, to say, hey, we're going to try to convert trash to energy, right? And this analysis has been done by USAID. There's plenty of research that exists that you can very easily, all this trash that exists on the streets, you collect it. What can be burnt, you burn it, right? And that's a source of permanent revenue, because that money ultimately, the trash that you collect in the streets, will then go to creating electricity that you charge people to access, right? So literally that trash that costs you very little to collect turns into revenue on the other side, right? Because electricity you can charge people for, right? And so the fact that that is not on the agenda in Haiti is something that truly I can agree with lovely King Magni who made that comment. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling, right? Carl Barnes says, what happens when dipped in chocolate, people gain their own independence and other countries don't, because they don't control you, so they won't get investment dollars. You know what? Carl said it, not me. Carl wrote it. I didn't write it. Doesn't mean I don't disagree with it, but I'm just saying, Carl wrote it, right? And there's some truth to it. Sagna TV. Hey man, you're late. Next time you gotta bring pates to the group, man. Next time you come in. Okay, welcome though. Welcome. Treguna 24 says protect the border from Dominicans. Talking about inverting reality. I think Tregna's comment to other people. Always good to see you, Dominican brother or sister in the chat. As always, Dominicans don't play around, man. The Dominicans, woo, I'm trying to say they get a countrywide alert. You hear me? Dominicans get a countrywide alert. Wait a minute, there's somebody talking ish about my country. Wait a minute. They get on and they defend it, boy. You hear me? Meanwhile, Haitians are the first to talk bad about their own country. Worst stuff I ever hear about Haiti comes out of Haitians. I don't think I've ever met a Dominican to talk bad about the Dominican Republic. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I've never met a Dominican who has talked even a fraction bad about their country as Haitians talk bad about theirs. Anyways, let's keep on reading. We got Luis Cuno. Oh man, that's a tough Spanish name right there. Luis Quinones. What's up? What's up? Happy to have you in the chat. First time I'm seeing you. Definitely hit that subscribe button. It's your first time here. Hit that like button. Hope to see you again. Right? Ernest Nicola says, when are we going to update on the St. Louis Canal? Listen, Ernest, brother, where have you been? Ernest, if you go to the GoFundMe channel, right, there's updates. In fact, there's an update that was released yesterday. That's number one. Number two, there is a page. There's a page on Facebook that is updated by an incredible guy, Gary. Hats off, Gary, if you're watching, right? And he was so impacted by the movement. He himself organized. He got around $300 plus. I'm sure he probably had $500 by himself. He was able to rally people in his network to donate. And on top of that, he then went ahead and created a page and a website. So if you Google St. Louis Canal, Haiti, there's a website that exists that also provides updates, right? And on top of that, if you go to my IG page, there's a story. To be honest, I haven't updated in a while, but a few weeks. But still, even there, I try to give occasional updates as I get them, right? I have time, right? But nonetheless, your best place to go is the Facebook page, right? Because those updates are constantly coming, right? And then the GoFundMe itself also being updated. So, Ernest, so I'm gonna could update you. Okay, let's get updates your level. Okay, so understand, Seejeanty would not endorse anybody or any project that didn't have a way to constantly give updates independently of me. Right? And you guys always know there's a way for you to go and see how the project's doing. They're doing, by the way, doing very well. Last I heard, they only had 600 yards or 600 feet, not too much left to being finished. Right? And so I expect probably in the new year, so maybe February or something, I would highly expect to be back in St. Louis too soon to do the follow-up episode, right? But no, just know, Magistrat Edwin site is doing some great work out there, and the GoFundMe is still up. So, if you guys have donated once already, donate again, because that money is being used. It's a new pay period. Donate a few bucks again, because they're doing some really great work out there on the GoFundMe for the St. Louis Canal episode. So, Ernest, thank you for that. But again, don't ask that question no more, because you can answer it yourself. There's so many resources available, Ernest, in terms of finding out, what's going on in Haiti right now. Oh, here it is. I'm looking for my water bottle. All right. King Knight's review. Yes, I'm taking questions. Let's see what else we got here. The Ministry of Agriculture is doing a great job. Absolutely, the first one ever that has done so many initiatives and accomplishments. I agree. In my time here, I've always followed the news. I haven't seen this many consistent projects coming out of the Ministry of Agriculture. So hats off to the head, who's doing some really great things out there, right? Aido says, set up a PayPal, man. I'll donate, bro. Set up a PayPal. Listen, man. Listen. I got you. Check this out. Boom. I just dropped something there for Aido as well. I think Aido already gave, but for anyone else, we do have alternatives, and one alternative is the PayPal. I just dropped the PayPal. Was it www.paypal.me? Oh, 1 second. Let me double check if I got the link right. PayPal.me/. Okay, I hope I spelled it right. Yeah, it's right. www. It is www. Okay. All right. Good stuff. What's next? DMA says, awesome. It's an awesome regular channel. Oh, just thinking about, I think when I was mentioning, I was going to split this off to a regular channel, I think. Its own channel. We got Learning Haiti Creole. Haitian. What's up? Good to have you in the chat. Good to have you. If only those people would get together instead for crying for powers. I agree with you. Let's see what else we got going on. DR's wake up, and proud for you for who you are. The whole island has been selected to rise. However, the thrones of supreme will be established in Haiti. Leah's wrote this. All right. Appreciate that comment. Passionate fella about Haiti. That's what's up. All right. What else we got here? We got Aido says, hey, but the dude was following order in order to come back in the country. Okay. We got Peter J. Tena saying, I think it was a good idea. Or just responding back to them. All right. So yeah, that's pretty light on the questions today. I was expecting to go a little bit longer in the comments, right? So I'm gonna give folks another minute or two. I got 93 folks watching right now. What do you want to know? I feel like I'm leaving a little too soon. Usually we've got 2.5 hour live streams. I feel 2.5 hours. I feel like I'm robbing somebody, right? So here's your chance. I'll call for any questions, any comments, anything folks want me to talk about, in the chats, right? Let's see. Laia Kylan says, Haitians have been waiting years for so much change to happen in the country. Probably why Haitians, y'all talk so much crap about the country. They have the Pearl Antilles to return, right? So I see what you're saying there. Certainly, listen, it's like a lot of Haitians Haiti is like a spurned girlfriend, right? Where you love this woman, this thing, and Haiti rejects you because Haiti refuses to, the Haitian government particularly refuses to operate correctly, and so you leave. You leave because you don't have opportunity, or if you came in, you didn't do a good job, executing, and you didn't succeed, and to come back, right? And unless you feel a certain way, and of course you're going to feel emotional, as you would if you were spurned, and talk about that person or thing. We get it. That's only human, right? But the thing is that, understand you are the only humans that do so in so numerous numbers, and so religiously, right? And that's a problem. Right? But nonetheless, we certainly hope Haiti Biz News helps with understanding that there's still activity happening on the ground that's moving folks in a direction that's necessary for advancement. Okay. All right. We got Live Life Lamore asking a question. How can security be improved so business can pick up? And the answer is, the reality is that if you're waiting for security to improve to do business in the country, you probably should stay in America. Because the ethos of that question is, we need a condition to happen that someone else needs to give me before I can come and do business. That's what the ethos of that question is. And that idea of waiting for someone or something to give you permission to execute change is why Haiti will never change, right? You won't. If I was waiting for permission to come to Haiti and employ the dozens of people I've employed, these people would still be unemployed, without steady income, right? You can't wait for permission. You can't wait for a condition to exist. Now, what you do is when you come to the country, you move a certain way. You move a certain way when you can. You put in your business plan a security plan, right? Right. You put in line items for guards. Depending on what type of business you have, it's going to be a retail location. You're going to have to put security in the store, outside the store, armed, unarmed, right? Depending on the business you have. You're going to have to put security cameras up, and you're going to have to consider having transportation available to pick up staff if the pay gets low, and having set of motors. So there's a certain amount of things you have to have, right, that will help in executing a quote unquote safe operation, right? But that's not why you don't come. You don't wait for someone. That's why I make that very clear, right? And is anything going to happen to you? I mean, no. I've been in the country 3-4 years. Last I checked, I don't have any bullet holes in me. Last I checked, I think, right? You guys can see me, right? I'm not in a coffin yet, right? And so what are you waiting for? Something's going to happen. I'm here. I'm operating. Okay, what's your next excuse? Right? Right. But honestly, the simplest question answer is, if you feel, a particular way about Haiti, certainly perhaps holding off until you build the confidence, and honestly, re-engage in your country. Re-engage, come for a visit, come for over a weekend. You'll see for yourself. Haiti isn't a dog-eat-dog wasteland for people. It's a place you can live, you can visit, you can have a good time, and that's where I'll end that. Right? Isaac says, what part in the country do you function in Pétionville? Thanks for asking. Leah says, I'm speaking to all the natives of Haiti and DR to team up for the last wrath of the Supreme. Leah, thanks for that comment. I certainly think if the day Haiti and DR teams up, just listen, just from an economic perspective, DR has around 10 million people. Haiti has 11, 12 million people. That's a massive market. That would make us the largest market that you can buy in the entire Caribbean. We would be more than the entire Caribbean put together, right? So from a market perspective, in terms of wealth potential, DR and Haiti teaming up and really doing a cooperative, really understanding that at the end of the day, their economies are very much connected, and doing things to really advance both their economies at the same time to make it a win-win. Certainly, I think so, and that's part of that economic package. Doing something that they treat each other with more respect and a little more fluidity and travel between these people, in addition to our capital. I think that's the direction we need to go, and it'll be certain a win-win. Any update on the election? Things are moving forward. Update on the election in Haiti. Things are moving forward. The CEP, despite not being inaugurated by the Court of Cassation, they don't care. Jovenel is still moving forward with putting together elections, in addition to putting together a new constitution. So that is moving forward. Thanks for that question. I didn't cover it on the show just because it's a little too political. It doesn't have direct impact on the economy just yet. Right? Do Haitian farmers know about the importance of crop circling? I don't know, right? But I do know a big part of a lot of the aid assistance that they receive has to do with modernizing their agricultural processes. And I'm certain that if crop circling is very important for their type of product that their crop that they're growing. I'm sure that they're being trained on it. So thanks for that. It was an emotional decision by one sick individual and his partisan. I'm not too sure what that topic is. Let's see. Scroll up. Let's scroll up. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back. Moun qui te créé ami à terre, ouais, comme une solution. Majorité haïtienne, ouais, comme une solution. Ami, à pas régler rien pour majorité non yo. Donc, you pas ouais comme you mal. Okay, thanks for that comment there in Creole. Appreciate it, Ido. Lovely King Magon says, when are you going to see Marion hydroelectric plant? When it's finished. When it's finished. When it's formally finished, I will certainly make a drive up there and I'll make an episode out of it. No problem, right? How's the security in Haiti right now? Security is fine. Something about a lawyer being assassinated. I don't, I hate to say it like this, but folks use the unfortunate events of a person to paint an image of the entire country. And the reality is, my friend, is that I don't know this guy. This guy could have been a Jesus Christ feature, saintly, and gave money, to charities, and was potentially a very good person. But two, he could have not been, right? I can't speak for what happens to an individual. To paint broadly about what happens for most folks, the reality of Haiti is, if you do wrong long enough in Haiti, it catches up to you, and it catches up to you very violently, right? That's all I can say, right? I think too many Haitians use unfortunate events that happen to people as aha, I told you. This one person who passed away got this thing that happened to him. Aha, I told you. Look, see, terrible place. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, Jamaica has a per capita death rate that is 3 to 4 times Haiti. Right? They have in one weekend murders and deaths that happen in Jamaica that equal what happens in Haiti for months. Meanwhile, in Chicago, we had 50 people shot, just a regular weekend, just last weekend. I'm not even 50 people shot. 4 of them babies. Babies. We had 4 babies killed in Chicago, less than 2 years old, with bullets, right? But Jay George isn't going to stop his trip to Chicago. Jay George is not going to stop his trip to Jamaica. Jay George will be the very first person up there not saying amen about anything happening. But Jay George will ask questions. But what about this one thing that happened? This one guy that... Come on, man. Come on, man. I can't speak to... I feel it's very unfortunate what happens to the lawyer, and I hope his family gets justice, and in Haiti. But I can't speak to that. But what I can tell you is the security situation for 99% of everyone in the country, folks are still moving. Folks are still, and things are moving for them. And I still feel more safe in this country, no matter what is happening, even under Pay Law, than I've ever felt in America, period. Right? And that's how I can answer that. And that's how I always will answer that. Right? What's next? I try to be open-minded, have conversations about politics, about Dominicans, about what's going on in the island. They feel like Haitians in Dominican RD is a burden. Okay, all right, fair enough. That is a view many of them hold. Right. I hear you. Cycling Live TV says, if you stay out of politics in Haiti, you'll be all right. That's a good rule of thumb. In hindsight, do you think that the indemnity in France was worth it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We should have fought it out the way the Cubans are fighting it out right now. They're doing okay. Should have fought it out. But I understand. right? When you understand that the French, despite that we beat them, still were a formidable ally. There was a degree of fatigueness from the perspective of the Haitian military at the time. And the fact that you understand the French military, I mean, not too many people know this, but in the late 1800s, actually invaded Mexico, right? A lot of people don't know this. The French military in the 1860s invaded Mexico and held Veracruz for a long time. And in fact, installed a governor. In fact, the French Empire, for a period of time, colonized Mexico. A lot of people know this, right? So they had a capacity to invade successfully Mexico, which had a much better army than we did at the time. Nothing really would have stopped them from trying again. Would they have lost? Probably, right? But that's the reality they were living in. And so do I wish they didn't sign the indemnity with France? I certainly wish they didn't. But do I understand? I understand. Right? And it's unjust that we live in a world that didn't step in and say, wait a minute, the U.S., for example, just beat the British, should have stepped in. It's a very bad precedent to say, wait a minute, we didn't sign no indemnity to Britain. Why are you guys signing indemnity to France? And of course, we know why. Thomas Jefferson, just do a quick history. Just do Thomas Jefferson Haiti, and you'll see very clearly what Thomas Jefferson, the third president, thought of Haiti. Now, he did not have anything good to say about Haiti. In fact, he said the worst thing to exist in his reality, was a country of N-words, south of his border. Right? I remember Thomas Jefferson was a slaveholder at the time, and so a country run by former slaves was an adherent aberration to him, right? And that's a reason why you would not have expected the U.S. government to step in. In fact, Haiti didn't get a formal ambassador until Lincoln freed the slaves. And that same year, they also opened direct channel contact with the Haitian government, right? And that was many years later, right? That actually happened under Lincoln. Right? It was 60 plus years after we've been, or 80 plus years, 60, 80 plus years, we were free, right? So it's just the reality. It is what it is. Right? Do you view the education as a business, since it's a pay to play? Do you view education as a business? I think for Haiti to ever really genuinely progress, Haiti does need much more universal access to education, and the government needs to step its role up to provide that. That said, I do think the private sector is doing important work. There should be more regulation, certainly. You look at America, the best schools are private. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, there shouldn't be no private schools in Haiti, but certainly there needs to be more public schools, and especially targeted to the Haitians who can't afford it, and the Haitians in the provinces and where it doesn't necessarily make economic sense to build a good school. There needs to be much more public education. That would be my perspective. Thanks for that question. We got Leah Khan says, I may not agree with the majority of Dominicans, but it's always good to get their perspective. That's important. Right? In fact, when I'm in the Dominican Republic, I always ask what's going on, particularly from the Haitians there, and they say, listen, the majority of Dominicans aren't racist. The majority of Dominicans, in fact, appreciate the hard work of many Haitians who are there, right? Just the reality is that there's a significant amount that don't, and they pass legislation to make it difficult for other Haitians to come in and do work, right? But I can tell you, from my time in Dominican Republic, that if the reality is, if Haitians were coming in and they weren't broke, there wouldn't be such a negative perception, a relationship. Because the issue with Dominicans is, unfortunately, we live in a capitalist society. We live in this is America, and everywhere, to be poor is a crime. To be looking for economic opportunity is a crime in many places, and because we have, just like Haitians in the Dominican Republic are very much the Mexicans of America, right? And there is a negative ethos put upon people who are racially uninformed, right? That contributes to a negative perception. And unfortunately, those people also have, a disproportionate amount of capacity to pass laws, right? And so that's kind of the perspective I can provide from speaking to Haitians in the Dominican Republic when I'm in the Dominican Republic visiting. What else? What other questions we have? Stop waiting to act. Wait for change. It's not going to happen. I agree with you. Right? I noticed I was a part of the Haiti Tech Summit. Not this year. So what you probably saw was maybe last year. I was a part of one particular person who was doing some stuff, and they invited me to participate. And then I did get some on-screen time with one of the media companies that they had shooting the last year's event. But no, formally, Seejeanty has not formally ever been invited or associated with Haiti Tech Summit directly. The first year, I did participate in a sort of competition to get my fledgling staffing company some attention. Particularly, my staffing company at the time was using a web portal that was streamlining lower end staffing, which I moved away from. I do want to come back from it at some point. And so it made sense to kind of feature what we were doing at the time. And I did pitch, and I was successful. I think I was probably one of the most retweeted about, and I think I want to hats off to my viewers who made that happen at the time. But that was the years I was able to come in and participate from that perspective. But from a speaker perspective, I haven't been invited yet from Haiti Tech Summit, which is fine. I just want to clear that up. Maybe next year. It's all good. Jordan D, this is random, but how did you find a house in Haiti? What's the best tip to get a bang for your buck while searching for a place? Talking to people. I can tell you, being here and talking to people, saying, hey, I'm looking to rent. And everyone, a lot of people you speak with, they have either people who have vacancies, and you get the best rate that way by physically being here and having a conversation with people. Trying to rent from a distance, you're going to be charged some stuff that when I hear what some people get charged for housing in Haiti, I laugh, because a lot of places are they're charging people what you would be charged in America, which is hilarious to me, because myself, I only, for a year, my rent is in a few $1,000s for the year, a few $1,000s. But I know people who are being charged a few $1,000s a month, like it is like America, which is hilarious, because that's just not how housing is priced, even for nice first world conditions. Usually, if you really know, by just speaking with people, talking with people, you'll get a good deal. And I can tell you, for Delma, Pétionville, like I wouldn't advise you to pay more than a couple $1,000s per year for housing. Okay. What else? We got Music Lover saying. Let me scroll back up here. You're gonna do a hard stop at 2:30, by the way, guys. Let's see. Can you give us Mika Marabu's link that you gave us last time? I don't quite know. So it's on Instagram. So if you type her name in, her name is spelled Mickaael. You'll get to it. Right. And so you almost got it. So Mickaael Marabu. And I want to say, by the way, thank you for everyone who added her. I think I had over somewhere like 100 ads to her. And so hats off. I want to thank you guys for stepping up and helping. If she doesn't reach out, that's fine. We're doing okay over here on Seejeanty. But if she does, freaking awesome. Either way, win-win. I appreciate the folks who went over there and added her, my name, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So thank you, nonetheless, for everyone who did so. What? So best place to start a young Haitian adult wanting to visit Haiti? Great question. Decameron. You want to go to Decameron? It's all-inclusive resort. The food's fantastic. The experience is fantastic. I really, Decameron, if it's your first time in Haiti, you want to have a really good exposure to the country, go to Decameron Hotel. It's beautiful beaches, great customer service. D-E-C and then Cameron, C-A-M-E-R-O-N. And unlimited drinks. Hello, unlimited drinks. So do check that out. All right. How about money processing? What's the law over there? You get a franchise. You get a CAM uni transfer. You just basically you sign up and you can host their money transfer services in your facility. Right. So that's it. That's how you get into it. Right. Western Union as well. They have these I don't know what it's called, but you basically become a franchisee or an agent. There you go. You become an agent. So if you go to any other websites and you go become an agent of CAM Uni Transfer, that's how you get into the game. All right. Do you think a prominent businessman and woman should get involved in politics? I think the reality is in Haiti is eventually you get so big, it's hard not to engage in politics in some way or fashion. Should you run for office? I think if I personally won't run for office at any time, but I think politics will never change unless good people become politicians. And so, I think someday, Haiti needs a generation of good politicians, and if good people are afraid to run for office, Haiti will never change. And so, I hope that answers your question. Right? Hope I answered it. That's the best of answer I can give. Right? At some point, you will grow big enough to where you can't avoid it. Right? But should you run for office? I don't know. But certainly, good people need to run for office in Haiti so Haiti can have a chance to actually improve and be better. Right? Let's see what else folks are saying. Let me skim through, see any really impactful questions I want to grab before I head out of here. Hey, Jody, Felony, what's up? See all the impactful questions I can grab here before I get out of here. A lot of other conversations back and forth that we're seeing here. All right. Let's see what folks are saying here. How is Haiti's customs office? Corrupt, inefficient, expensive. Avoid it if possible. That's the best way I can. That's why I always people like, I'm going to buy cars in Haiti. I always say, and the first thing I say, I'm going to export a car into Haiti. Like, you're better off buying a car in Haiti. A car that's already here. You're better off buying it. Right? You're already off buying it. Right? What else we're saying? What else? Let's see. Lots of comments in here. Of course, I'm seeing a lot of love and support for Dominicans in the channel. Gotta love it. All right, so yeah, interesting. We got to Savano Calix that says, I'm a young Haitian living here in the Dominican Republic. Trust me, a lot of Dominicans hate Haitians and are racist. I'm not going to say all of them, but like you said, if our situation was better, they wouldn't treat us so bad. Fair enough. Thanks for that perspective, Savantson. I always, Haitians living in Haiti, in Dominican Republic, I always give extra value to your perspective because you're living it, right? So thank you for that perspective there. I appreciate it. Secondly, the Army should be mandatory from 18 to 40. I agree. It would add considerable civic pride to Haitians, right? I agree. Military service should be mandatory. So long as it's below my age group. Because I'm too old to be. dodging bullets. I don't know about you. But still, listen, we shouldn't be going out to war. Just give them 2 years, train them up, really as a vehicle for appreciation of civic pride. And also, listen, the day things do pop off between DR and us, listen, we have to have a solid base of trained people. Now, we just can't be expecting, we do it like 1804, with machetes and rocks. We need actual trained people to be able to pick up arms, defend ourselves. I'm joking. Jeez, people are going to grab this camera, this clip, and just think I'm advocating for war between DR. No. We need to come together and work together. None but love. I'm just joking, right? But but as a serious tip, using military as a vehicle for civic pride is certainly, I think, would be a great idea. Right, would be a great idea. Right. So I appreciate all the comments stuck around, and I think all the folks who asked some really great questions today. You guys make taking time out my day and preparing the news and commenting very enjoyable. And as I said, we got some real great things. I'm considering seeing how we can make them work in the coming year to see how we can do it, right? And we'll see. Maybe if the book does so well, and maybe I can use the book revenue to fund some of these very interesting things I have in mind for what we got here. So we'll see. Start if I can get off and go back work on the book. Very close to being finished. Can't wait to drop it and really show you guys there's so much opportunity that exists in the country. It's really on us as Haitians to change our countries. We cannot wait. We cannot wait for the government. We cannot wait for the international community. It has to be us Haitians, right? For those who are brand new, of course, and seeing us for the first time, even my Dominican friends who may have came in because of the headline, do pop in and hit that subscribe button. Right, we're here every week doing this sort of stuff. We're informing and engaging and keeping you moving forward. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, right? And all the people who donated today, oh my goodness, $100+. What? Yo, in fact, let me take a look at my phone and let's see something. I want to see something. Okay, no Square Cash. Let me see if there's any Square Cash love. But nonetheless, appreciate you, those who gave through the stream today. Much appreciated, right? And of course, we're here every Sunday. And of course, really quick shout out, Philly Dom in the house. Philly Dom, currently in the Dominican Republic. Quick shout out. Make sure to go give Philly Dom some love and appreciation. The guy's doing some really cool stuff. So since we're talking about Dominican Republic today, he's actually in DR live streaming. He's dropping 2-3 videos a day about Dominican Republic, and he's doing some really cool stuff. He's going to some Haitian restaurants in Dominican Republic. He's going to he's interviewing some Haitians. Whenever he runs into them, he asks them straight up how are things in Dominican Republic. He also runs into a lot of other people, like African Americans who move back, and he talks to them. And so do check out Philly Dom's channel. He had a lot of really cool stuff happening. So always good to see Philly Dom. Haiti to the world. Always good to have Philly Dom in the chat. All right, guys. That is it for today. We'll be back next week, 11 a.m. ish. Right. And until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.